All right. Okay. Test. You've been calling Mike. Mike's not here. He's not.
Boundaries called him.
How's it look now? Still not working? Yes. Sounds good? Okay. This is the January meeting of the Houston County Historical Society, January 2019. I'd like to call that to order for the new year. Welcome, everyone. Hope you've all signed in. If not, Miss Betty will possibly sign you in. If you would turn your phones to off or vibrate. And I guess we'll get started then by having Mr. Sid McMillan lead us in the Pledge of Allegiance.
I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Thank you. Did the members receive their minutes? Anyone? We've got a couple of extra copies for those of you who may not be members. If you want to see what's going on, or if you would like to become a member. We did not, in December of last year, approve the minutes for November. So, is there a motion to approve the minutes for November and December?
So moved.
Second?
Second.
Thank you. All in favor?
Aye.
Financial report, Ms. Betty.
The balance that we had on hand for November the 13th, was the last business meeting we had, was $5,792.18. Our income for this period, ending January the 8th, was $240. Income was $1.66 as interest. Our expenses were $1,534.23, leaving a balance in our checking account of $4,499.61. The income was $60 for dues, $30 for books, $150 for some more bricks, and the interest $166. Our expenses were material for the brick walk was $1,250. The Christmas party was $58.98. We donated a ham for the Christmas kickoff. That was $30.25. $50 for a speaker expense, and $125. I got camera equipment, but I think it's that thing that's on the
Yes.
It's a camera
Oh, it is.
tripod.
Good. I
and
guessed
it's
that.
a mic stand and the camera.
That was $125, and I had to file the annual report for our registered agent, which is $20. And our certificate of deposit, the new balance on it is $10,980.08.
Thank you. Melissa, would you like to give us an update on archives, please?
Motion on it? Do we or don't? Danetta, do we make a motion on the?
I move we accept the treasurer's report.
Second it?
All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed?
Sorry,
That's good. That's good. Thank you. Go for it. I have to do it next month. For those who don't know me, I'm Melissa Barker. I'm the Houston County Archivist, which is located in the basement of the courthouse. I usually try to give an update each month. We're doing great in the archives. We are, if you were here at the open house in November, I said it was the year of the photograph, and they still keep coming in. And so I'm going to leave these up here for you all to look at tonight. These were actually purchased on eBay by Susan Knight Gore. If any of you know her, her Knight family is from here. She is an angel for the archives. She's always purchasing things on eBay, and then she just mails them to me. She doesn't know, she doesn't contact me and tell me they're coming. She just puts them in the mail. And so I actually saw these on eBay. I contacted the seller and asked the seller to donate them to the archives if they didn't sell. But Susan bought them, so, and then sent them to me. But there are, one is just of a horse, of a wagon and a horse, which I think is neat. On the back, it says Jim Metcalf. The horse's name is Billy, and the dog's name is Flora. And so, and this was probably taken, what did we say, Leah?
He passed away in 1918.
1918. So this
It was
was taken
before that.
before 1918. And he looks not elderly in this photograph, but older. So this picture here is also of him. I think this was probably taken around 1900. It's him with his horse because he's a lot younger. But it says in Erin, and I keep looking at these houses in the background trying to figure out where in Erin this is. And so I know none of us were around in 1900, but, and then this one is one of my absolute favorites. It's actually a picture postcard, and it says, seen in Erin, early 1900s, and it's the C.C. Cook Paint and Wallpaper business and the C.C. Cook and Company Coffins, Furniture, and Hardware. And it looks like they had just built them, if you look at this. There's a sign right down here near the ground, and it says Lehigh Cement. So I don't know if that's an advertisement or what. But I'm going to put these over here for y'all to look at. We had conversation during the board meeting of where this might be. Jerry seems to think that it is
Where Frank Ray's.
Frank Ray's
tavern
bar
was.
was, over here where the health department,
Yeah.
right?
Right.
Yeah. For some reason, and I'm not from here, but I seem to think for some reason it's on the back side of the square facing the railroad. I don't know, so.
No, excuse me, Frank.
Yes.
Frank had a restaurant where the Western Auto was too, before he moved to that
Okay.
place.
There's a picture that I put on the Historic Society site for the Irish. It was one of the first parades when they came in here and they went around the square. And they're coming up by that place right there. If you'll look at it and see the resemblance to the picture that I'm talking about, if I find it, I'll share it
Yeah,
with you.
sure, yeah,
And then you'll see, now the store on the end there, or the building on the end,
yeah.
it don't look like the other building, but the windows in that building right there on the one on the left, to me, it's what I remember of the square. And I mean, I haven't been here since '74, but that's a building that looked like it from the front. But you could be right, it could be on the
Yeah.
backside.
I believe I have another photograph of these businesses, and I believe if I remember correctly, it's not a very good photograph, but, and I thought it was in the pictorial history book, and I looked and I didn't find it. But you're welcome to look at these, and I'm always fascinated behind the people, at the buildings and things. I'm always trying to find great clues and great discoveries for our city and our county, so you're welcome to look at these. If you have any photos, documents, or anything you'd like to donate to the archives, we are always accepting them. We are actually expanding the archives into another room in the courthouse where they now have 2 rooms and the vault. So we have more room. And one of the things we're trying to do is to save our history, especially our photographs. I want to make our photograph collection, where people need to come to find photos of Houston County. So if you have anything to donate, just let me know. But I'll put these up here for anyone to see.
We have the pictures from last time.
Oh, for those of you that weren't here in November, it was just after November or December.
It was after November.
Yeah.
December.
I did. We got another donation of photographs from a gentleman who has a website called Kentucky Travels or Kentucky something. And it was about 12 photographs of the railroad bridge at Danville from 1932. That was when they, and I don't know the terminology, where they turned it from a turnstile to a lift bridge. In the letter that I got, it said that the man was working for the Illinois Railroad. He was an engineer, I think. He took the photographs, and his son was the one who had them, and he donated them to this gentleman, well, the gentleman sent them to us for our archives. And so they're very unique photographs of that bridge and the process that we didn't have before. So they're in the archives now, too. So, thank you. Thank you. I guess we'll go over the old business first. I had asked Donald about the update on the metal marker, and the update is there is no update or no metal marker. We're still in search of the metal marker. We may end up buying a new metal marker, depending on the price and what's available financially to do that. Jerry, want to tell us about our new microphone stand and tripod?
That's what we purchased from Computer One, and the total on them was $125. And it was for the mic stand, which the other mic stand, the mic was falling down because it'd been used a lot. And then we got a new tripod for the camera. So both of them are
Working.
really neat.
They're working.
Yes. And then we do
Okay.
appreciate the offer to do that.
Thank you for taking care of that. We still have books available for sale if anybody plans on doing any genealogy research this winter when it's cold and you can't get out or you don't have access to a computer. These books are great. They're in the library. I have some in my car. New business. The February meeting is our next meeting. We will co-sponsor with the Houston County Chamber of Commerce. You'll get the information in your minutes. It will be the Little Rock Baptist Church with John Baker. You may have seen it in your minutes. He is an African-American man that's been doing research for a number of years and should be a good turnout. It's up on top of the hill on Spring Street. Good parking, and our meeting will be that presentation.
I have heard him speak at Belmont. Wonderful, wonderful.
And the time is 6 o'clock.
6 o'clock
Not 7.
on top of the hill. Okay.
Can I say something real fast? It's kind of old. I asked Paul about the bricks and the walkway. He said that the city's thinking about even expanding it out further, because he said they had interest in people buying more bricks. But the problem is, I don't know if the Monument Place and Dixon will have any more of the bricks that we ordered at the price we were getting them at. So that's one issue, but they were talking about expanding all the way out to the walking trail. So if they wanna go with it, then,
Anyone else sponsor that?
yeah.
Okay.
They can,
Yes, ma'am.
Dixon's been great on getting the bricks. Every time I've ordered, they've ordered a few extra.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
But he did say that they may add more to it.
Yeah, we've gotten 2 brick orders came in after all of that.
Is that Dixon Monument Company?
Dixon Monument. yeah.
Okay.
They're
So you
very-
know of anyone that wants a brick? It's still a possibility.
Yeah.
But do stress that if they order one, that we're not sure when they will be laid. Even though we ordered the bricks, it may take up to a year to get them laid because we have to have
Several.
yes.
Yeah, I have to have at least 15 orders for them to order more,
Okay.
and it's gonna take quite a few to get,
Okay.
and it takes forever to find someone
Yeah.
to lay them, do the concrete.
Because on this order, I had people calling me and Danetta had people calling her, but it was just waiting to get them laid, and they're in there now, so.
And how they look?
They look great,
Good.
yeah. The young man who did it, they're the same level as the entrance, that's what I was worried about, that it'd be a toe stubber. But he got them all laid right there, somebody that Paul came up with.
Okay, so if you haven't seen those, be a nice little trek over to check those out. There was discussion in the board meeting that we just came from, and there was concern about being able to back up the photos, the CDs, the information that we have, just in case. And Dan, you want to tell us about what we wanted to do?
After the discussion, there was a motion made and seconded what do we call ourselves? The board members?
The board members.
The board members voted to authorize to spend up to $250 to buy a external drive to store those records on, and the external drive will be small enough that it should be able to be stored in a vault somewhere. I don't know whether that'll be at the Historical Society or somewhere. And then they're going to also, I think, look into the possibility of storing those records at a couple of other sites, but at least we'll have one set on a external drive that should last. Some of the stuff now is on CDs, and CDs have a limited lifespan. And so this will be a more secure place to store photographs, and Donald records these meetings, but that can be put on there. Everything that's on is digital can be stored on there. And we're talking about the drive will probably be somewhere between 3 and 5 terabytes in terms of volume. That's a whole lot. That's about the only definition I can give for that. But
And we happen to have a person in our midst that can take care of that for us. So is there a motion to purchase this? Or did you have something to say?
Who, me? No.
Yes.
I'm semi-retired.
the
The
board
board voted.
recommended that the full
Okay.
group.
Yeah.
And second it, is there any discussion or objection to the financial?
All right, we're authorizing up to $250 to purchase of a external storage, computer storage drive.
Okay, you all agree?
Aye.
Any opposed? Okay. Well, we're here tonight to have the mayor speak to us and give us the state of the county. After his speech, we will have him swear in the officers, and we'll turn it over to our mayor, Mr. James Bridges.
Better applaud now.
Thank you. Just a quick update on a few things that we've been working on in my office. I'm sure that everybody knows that we're working on trying to sell the hospital. That deal is still very much alive. I'm 100% sure it's going to go through. The company that's looking at purchasing that from the county has been investing a ton of money in it. And the amount of money that the county's having to contribute to the hospital has slowed down significantly. So we're in pretty good shape as far as the budget and everything for the hospital.
What is the name of the company?
The company is called Hchs. It's actually, they started out in the laboratory business. They do lab work, expert with a US on the end of it. And we have a management agreement in place with them now. They're actually running the hospital. They have hired a CFO that they're paying for that has been going through the books and trying to find all the billing errors and just he's going through all of the financials. I get updates about once a week. A lot of the stuff I don't even understand. So they're finding all kinds of issues with the way that Medicare and Medicaid and all the different insurance companies have been billed and underbilled, a lot of errors that have been going on for several years. So I honestly believe we've got the right people in there now to actually save our hospital, keep a healthcare facility in our community, and have that resource here for our citizens. We're also working on a renovation of the ER. We've had a small hiccup there. The plans were not sent through all of the necessary processes to be checked out before they started the project, so we've kind of had to halt until that gets done. But the engineer firm is working on that, trying to get that back on track, so hopefully in the next 2 weeks or so, we'll get them back, get the construction crew back in there and get that project going. That project really has nothing to do with the sale of the hospital. A lot of people have asked me if that's holding it up. It's not. The sale of the hospital, what's holding it up is getting the okay from the Attorney General. Since the county is a subdivision of the state of Tennessee, we have to get the blessing of the Attorney General to sell the hospital. Part of the process of doing that is we have to get a third-party fair market value and evaluation of what the hospital's worth. And it's a very lengthy process trying to get that done. and we're working on that as well. I also get a lot of questions about the projects going on at Danville. We're on phase 3 of that project, which is the RV pads up on top of the hill behind the bait shop. They just completed a pavilion up there, and they are working on, or soon will be working on, getting utility hookups, water and electricity and that kind of stuff up there for RVs to be able to hook up to when they stop up there to camp. The last little project of phase 3 is a boardwalk, which is going to go from about where the ferry stops back around towards the boat dock and the boat ramp, and that'll be a nice area to have for families and people to go out there and fish. It's kind of crowded down there. There's really not a whole lot of room to do much, just bank fishing. So that'll add to that. And once that's done, my plan is to start up a tourism board or a committee and a kind of a combined recreation and tourism board. And pretty much the same process that the county went through to start that process at Danville. And have a committee kind of look at it and help me figure out where that project needs to go next. They had real big plans for that down there. TVA kind of shut a lot of it down, and it's kind of been being built with no real end in sight, or what it's going to look like when it's all done. So I'd like to try to get a clear vision of what exactly the citizens of the county want and what is going to bring people in to spend money down there. Also on that end of the county, we're doing a little bit of work at the airport, trying to improve that asset. I think it's a very valuable asset for the county. Not many people know it, but there are a lot of airplanes that fly in and out of our little airport. I talked to a pilot today from Dixon who said that he regularly comes down here and does touch and goes and does just practice landing and takeoff. And it's a perfect airport for that kind of stuff. And they also stop and buy fuel. We have the lowest fuel prices anywhere within 100 miles of here. And we sell an awful lot of fuel. So, as Melissa touched on, we're working on expanding and improving the archives in the courthouse. The work that Melissa does is amazing. I've always been interested in what she does, and I'm kind of envious of her sometimes because she gets to dig through all the cool stuff, and all the awesome pictures and everything. So we've decided that rather than move that out of the courthouse, it's safer to keep the history of our county right there in a good, safe, secure place in the courthouse. So she's expanded into that room across the hall from her current office. Stop by sometime, take a look at it, because it looks awesome. It is completely different. It looked like almost like a dungeon before, and now it looks like a bright, nice, clean area for people to actually do some research. So that's about all that's really going on in the county. We've been real busy just trying to make sure that HR stuff is all up to date, and all the paperwork that the state requires and all that kind of stuff. Mr. Baggins back there, he's one of our commissioners. He's well aware of some of the stuff that we've been through as far as with the personnel policy. You go into these offices and you see a problem and you think, oh, we can fix that in a meeting or two, and it turns out it takes 6 meetings, and you got to consult the state, and you got to run it by an attorney, and what you think you can do in a meeting or two turns into a 3-month project.
Yeah.
But we got it done, and so I think we're making good progress. So, has anybody got any specific questions about any particular thing in the county? Mr. McMillan?
You mentioned your airport, our airport.
Yes, sir.
What you put the training session of somebody coming in, landing, and taking off and all like that. Is there anybody that can tell how many of those planes that come in on the weekend, that come down here to eat? Wonder how many come to the far end of the county on the east end? Has anybody ever asked about those?
Has anybody landed at the airport and then comes to the east end of the county?
Right. Back when it was established, there were several people that worked along here in the county that was the means to get people into the county and come into Huron and to the east end. I wonder if that's still continuing.
Honestly, I don't think so, not much. I think mostly what's happening is people are coming to our county, they're landing at our airport, they're getting fuel. A lot of people go over to the Southern Air. It's a really popular destination location for them to come in and get something to eat. But when they get done eating, they get back in their plane and they take off again.
It's called a $100 cheeseburger.
Right, exactly, yeah, I've called around and I've talked to people at different airports and asked for their assistance and tried to improve ours, and everybody knows about Southern Air and the $100 hamburger. I've had people from all over this region tell me about the $100 hamburger. My plan is to try to expand on that, to where we have more to offer than just Southern Air. I mean, there's nothing wrong with Southern Air, but it would be great to get some of those visitors, some of those tourist dollars into other areas of the county. So that's exactly my plan.
One other thing that's been so helpful for a lot of the people in the west end of Houston County, it's known by all the hospitals in the area from Nashville, Murfreesboro, Franklin, everywhere else, that it is a facility for the life flights and things like that. So that's one of the great things.
Right.
Yeah. There.
Yeah. I think what Mr. McMillan's talking about is our hospital is, if there's a patient flying from, say, Paris or Henry County or somewhere who's on their way to Vanderbilt, if there's a problem, if the aircraft has an issue or whatever, they know that they can land here. And it's a designated spot for them to stop where they can get access to medical care to take care of a patient who's in transit if there's an issue with not being able to get them all the way there, right?
Yeah.
Yeah, and that's a tremendous asset to have here in the county.
Hey, James, if I may, it's also, a lot of times there are accidents out there in that end of the county, and that is the designated pickup spot for medevac and airvac.
Right.
It's ideal for that, and it's been used many times.
Right, yeah. And the Army also has used it in the past. I don't know how often they use it now.
Yeah, I have a question about the industrial park, the new spec building. Is there any progress on that, or?
You know, I get probably 2 or 3 emails a week of people that are interested in that spec building. The thing with the spec building is the industrial park board we could have sold or leased that building just since I've been in office, probably 3 times. But they're very picky about who and what they want to put in that building. There was a local manufacturer was interested in that building. They wanted to purchase it, and we got all excited, and then found out all they wanted to do with it was store stuff in it. They wanted a storage building. So having a 50,000 square foot storage building in our industrial park doesn't create any jobs.
Yeah.
It doesn't do anything for our economy. The industrial park board is, like I said, they're picky about what type of person they want or what kind of company they want to occupy that building. They want someone who's going to create a manufacturing facility or technology or something that's going to have, not just jobs, but good paying jobs. It's not hard to find a job that pays $7, $8, $9 an hour around here. Finding a $15 to $20 an hour job is pretty tough. And that's what we're trying to bring in. We're trying to bring in more advanced technology, manufacturing, and things like that. And it takes a while, especially as far away from a highway system as we are. That's probably the main drawback for that spec building is we don't have quick access to an interstate. Anything else? Yes, ma'am.
With the development of the west end of the county, is there any foreseeable progress for a cell phone?
I knew that was going to come up. I know that in the past, there have been several like contractors who have looked at putting a cell tower in the west end of the county. And a lot of times what somebody will do is they'll think, oh, there's that part of the country is building up, so we'll go in, build a cell tower, and then we can lease it or sell it to AT&T or one of the big companies. I got excited a couple of months ago. I was actually contacted by AT&T, so it wasn't a contractor. This is an actual, it was an actual AT&T representative. They started asking questions about zoning and permit requirements and all that kind of stuff. So I know they're looking at it. How soon it's going to happen, I don't know. I do know they've already picked out a spot on Thompson Lane. It's directly across from Mr. McMillan. He'll be excited to have a cell tower out there when he wakes up.
I got 4 acres for sale.
But that's all I know on a cell tower. It's much needed out there. We've got an awful lot of people out there and there's no cell phone coverage. Anything else? I appreciate y'all's time, and I also appreciate all the work that y'all do. I've always been a history buff. I was a history major in college, and so what y'all do is important. We got to know where we come from to know where we're going, and so anything that has anything to do with the Historical Society, the archives, anything like that. If y'all need anything from me or my office, please don't hesitate to call or stop by. Thank y'all.
Thank you.
We would like to ask our mayor to swear in the officers for 2019. The officers will come up and do the board of directors with that or separately? Separately, okay. If Jerry Bobby, Vanetta James, and Miss Betty McKinnon. And our official photographer.
Okay, I'll bear with me for a minute because I haven't even had a chance to look at this. Okay. You have been elected by the Houston County Historical Society to serve as an officer of this organization for the year of 2019. To the best of your ability, will you promise to fulfill the duties of the office to which you have been elected as those duties are presented in the bylaws of this organization? Respond by stating, "I will."
I will.
Thank you all.
Call the board.
And then 2019 Board of Directors, Gary Booker, Sid McMillan, Melissa Barker, Jackie Bateman, Leah Baggett, Jerry Fazell, and Dan Osbrooks.
I swore I'd never get any swearing. Now this one's required. You need to be right up here. Good looking at you. Good looking at you.
This time.
All right, everybody ready? You have been elected by the Houston County Historical Society to serve on the Board of Directors for 2019. Will you promise to fulfill your responsibility as a board member, attend meetings whenever possible, contribute your ideas and talents to fulfill the purpose of the Houston County Historical Society as laid out in the Constitution of this organization? respond by stating, "I will."
I will.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Whenever possible.
I can't use it here now.
We shall adjourn and hope to see you all in February. So be safe.